So this video is part 2 of a two-part video that talks about rational functions. So we have looked at the vertical asymptote, the horizontal asymptote, the domain, the range. We also looked at the zeros and the, that's about it. We talked about discontinuous and continuous functions. Today we're going to narrow in on the horizontal asymptote, and then we're going to look at holes in graphs. Now the horizontal asymptote, again, remember we're dealing with the function p of x divided by q of x, whereby we cannot factorize or cross out any common factor between the two. Now what you need to know is that for the horizontal asymptote, if p, the degree of p, remember, or the highest exponent of p is more than the highest exponent of q, then we have no horizontal asymptote. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing is if p, the degree of p, is less than the degree of q, then y is equal to 0, or your horizontal asymptote is 0. And finally, if the degree of p is equal to the degree of q, then we're going to use that formula. The coefficient of p divided by the coefficient of q. So let's look at some examples and see how we can find the horizontal asymptote. So f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 4 over x. Again, we're going to check on our degree. Remember, the degree is your exponent. Your exponent on the p is the part above. If you look here, p is the part above, q is the part below. So if your p is greater than q, then it says we will have no asymptote. So example, we have x squared, so 2 as our p, and we have 1 as our q. So this is p greater than q, so we have no asymptote, no horizontal asymptote. Or you can simply say none. Here's another example. F of x is equal to x minus 2 over x squared minus 1. If you look carefully, what do you see? Our degree here is 1, our degree here is 2. So that is p less than q. P less than q, so your horizontal asymptote is 0. So horizontal asymptote is equal to 0. One more example, we have f of x is equal to 4x minus 12 over x minus 1. What's your degree on your p? Well, it's 1. The degree on q is also 1. So it says when p is equal to q, then you do the coefficient of p divided by the coefficient of q. Coefficient of p is 4 divided by coefficient of q is 1. That's 1. So, sorry, 4. 4 is your horizontal asymptote. So is that easy? You just need to memorize this thing here to help you with your horizontal asymptote. Finally, before we close off on radical functions or rational functions, we're going to look at a hole in a graph. So for the hole in graph, it simply means that you have a factor in your denominator and your numerator. If that occurs, then that x value will be the hole in the graph. So we have this thing here. We have x squared minus 9 over x minus 3. Look carefully, what do we see in our numerator? Yes, we have the difference of 2 squares. So we can rewrite that as x minus 3, x plus 3. And that will be over x minus 3. If you look carefully, we have x minus 3 here, x minus 3 here. That leaves us with x plus 3. However, based on the definition for the holding graph, saying that we can, the factor that we can cross out, this is what we're going to use. So x minus 3, we make that equal to 0. So x will be equal to 3. So how do we say that? There is a hole in the graph at x equals 3. One more example. We have x squared plus x minus 6 over x minus 2. We factorize this, we will get x plus 1, x plus 2 and x, this should be x plus 3 and x minus 2 divided by x minus 2. So these two would cancel. So if we would have a whole at x plus 2. All right. So let's do a question that will require your horizontal asymptote, your vertical asymptote, and you're finding the zeros. So we have this function, f of x is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 15 divided by x minus 1. The first thing we're going to do is to factorize. So we have x minus 3, x plus 5. We divide that by x minus 1. Now, we are going to find our vertical asymptote by making our denominator equal to 0. So x will be equal to positive 1. So x is equal to positive 1. To find our zeros, we make our numerator equal to 0. So we have x minus 3 equals 0, so x is equal to 3. We have x plus 5 equals 0, so x is equal to negative 5. For vertical horizontal asymptote, the degree here is 2, the degree here is 1. If you notice, P is greater than Q, therefore there is none. No horizontal asymptote. Hope that has helped you, and we will see in the next video.